Hello, everyone, and welcome tonight. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the Lord of the Rings 5e game from Free League. Barlow, how are you doing?
I'm awesome. Thank you, sir, for having me.
You got to be very excited.
I am.
Because, I mean, this is your wheelhouse, right? We're just throwing the pitch right down the middle.
It is.
And you're about to knock it out of the park.
Couldn't be more for me.
It's like a softball pitch.
Two of my favorite things,
Yeah, this is
Dungeons and Dragons and Lord of the Rings.
Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
all rolled into a nice little bow for you.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
So we talked about this game
Yes.
during our last episode, Shiny New Toys for the month of May.
Yes, we did.
And we thought that, hey, we have to give Barlow some more time. Because that video could have been 2 hours long with him talking about this game alone.
I could spend a lot of time on it. Yes, that's true.
So, but we're going to time you in this one.
Fair enough. I'm going to give my high level pitch and review of this. This is the Lord of the Rings 5th edition, meaning Dungeons and Dragons 5e role-playing game. Now, you may be familiar with Adventures in Middle-earth. That is the earlier edition of this that was released by Cubicle 7 a few years ago. The first time, as we mentioned before, that they had combined Dungeons and Dragons and the Lord of the Rings, which is a pity because, Dungeons and Dragons has a strong foothold actually in Lord of the Rings. That's its basis, foundation. So, what we have here is the next iteration of that. When Free League took over the One Ring license from Cubicle 7, they also took the license to present 5e material. And instead of just revising the game, Adventures in Middle-earth, and rewriting that, they rewrote an entire system. So, and when I say system, there's new classes, there's new some core rules and changes, and there are new cultures and where the lands where they come from.
But it's based on 5e.
Absolutely,
that core engine.
It is.
So
absolutely.
if you play 5e,
100%.
you're good to go.
If you play Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, you absolutely can play this. Now, you'll see some differences. For example, there are travel rules in this that are different from the 5e ones, but they focus and lean more into rule sets that are evocative of Middle-earth. And they're based foundationally upon the rules that were designed for the One Ring. So they just kind of moved them over to a D20-based system mechanic. The other thing that you'll notice is that the classes, they don't have progression charts beyond 10th level. So you go up to 10th level. I mean, you can still continue to gain experience and you can continue to become more powerful, but it's at a limited capacity compared to some of the other D20 games. That's because the designers feel like in Middle-earth, there's not especially in the Third Age of the World, which is what the campaign that this is set in, the Third Age of Middle-earth, they're not, hugely powerful 20th level warriors and 20th level wizards. That's another thing you'll find. There are not any standard spell casting classes. So if you want to play a wizard, you're not going to find a wizard in here. However, that doesn't mean there isn't magic. There is absolutely magic in this, much like, again, going back to the One Ring core design, some of the magical abilities are adapted and built into the classes themselves. So you'll find that as something that, again, is more evocative of the Middle-earth world in particular. I think that these are great at emulating the Middle-earth book. So I mean, if you love the Lord of the Rings, that's the world that'll definitely emulate. You can certainly do from the movies as well. I think the movies are a little more heroic sometimes in that, but I think this will capture that as well for you. Certainly something you should try out. The books themselves, talk about the quality of the books. They're just beautiful, especially if you talk about the interior. The paper is, it's not the traditional glossy kind of paper. It has more of a, kind of a parchment feel to it, and it gives it the sense that this is a fantastic kind of game. They released.
It's free league, right? They
exactly.
do great role playing books, right?
Exactly.
That's pretty much what they do, right?
Right. Exactly. So they released the core rulebook. This is everything you need for players and DMs. There's also a Game Master screen, and there's the Shire Adventures book. The Shire Adventures is essentially I'm reluctant to call it a campaign, but it kind of is a campaign. It's for playing adventures in the Shire. So if you like little cozy adventures and being a hobbit and trying to see who stole the food and are the wolves coming over the river this spring? No, probably not. This is a good series of adventures that kind of captures that, where everybody is in the Shire, wandering around Hobbiton and other farthings of the Shire and trying to solve some mysteries. So that's my pitch. 5 thumbs up for me.
If you like Lord of the Rings and you've always wanted to do a role playing, this is a very accessible way to play it, right? Because
absolutely.
I don't know for sure, but I think probably 5e is the most played system.
I'd have to imagine.
I'm just taking a guess, but
yeah, I'd have to imagine.
So like it's a very accessible system. So if you're familiar with that and you do love Lord of the Rings, you can just hop right in, right?
Now, if there was just a 5e Star Wars that was officially produced and published, man. Those are the only 2 games I'd ever need.
You never would have to get another game again.
I got them all. I'm done gaming. Mic drop.
Got gaming.
Got it done.
Retire from the gaming.
That's right.
Well, Barlow, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about. Like you said, you brought it up during our shiny new toys, and we wanted to give you more time about it because
so excited.
How excited you were about this.
Excited.
If you're looking to pick up a copy of this, please check your friendly local game store first. If they don't have it, you're welcome to check out the Guardtower.com. I will leave a link in the description below. And like always, Barlow, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you around. Have a good one, everybody.